Hello YouTubers, how are we doing? Hope you're doing great. I'm doing excellent as usual. Welcome to another episode of Air Gunning for Beginners, and today we're going to talk about the highly emotive subject and the most common subject you see out there: which pellet is best for my rifle? Yep, I'm sure we've all seen the posts. I've posted them, and I'm sure you've posted them as well. So primarily I'm going to try to keep this aimed at the beginners because this is a beginner series. There are many variables and there's many ways you can do this, through to pellet measuring, weighting and cleaning barrels and all sorts of wonderful ways to do it to get that precise, minute little fraction of a better result out there. But we're beginners. Let's just start at the basics, shall we? And I'm sure you're progressing to that much later on. So again, as usual, if you've got any questions, please put the comments down below. We're more than happy. I'm sure other subscribers will come in and help out as well. For those more experienced people, just please remember this is a beginner video. So you're going to get this all the time. What is the best pellet for my rifle? And you know what? The answer is, there is no standard answer to that. Certain rifles may prefer a certain type of pellet. I know that, for example, my caliber cricket prefers my Air Arms Diablo Field Sports. It just does. I've tried other pellets in there and I get pellets that are roughly the same. For example, Sovereigns. So my Diablos here, and then I've got my Sovereigns. They are pretty much the same. And these are quite high, expensive pellets, so about £13 a tin. But I do know that if I put in RWS Superdomes, I get different results. I get bigger groups at 25 meters, which means when I'm shooting out to 40, 50 meters, those groups are just going to get bigger. I also know that if I put in these pellets, which are £5 a tin, I'd be lucky to hit a barn door at 25 meters. But every rifle is different. There is one golden rule out here, is that changing your pellets will not make you a better shot. And if we understand that straight away, then we're on to a winner. You know, the amount of times I see comments and threads, oh, I got a grouping of this size, should I change pellet? And a lot of the times you see the answers from the more experienced people out there saying, how are you shooting it? How are you holding it? What sort of things are you doing? How are you releasing the trigger? What's your eye relief? What about your parallax on your scope and all of that? Before you even start to consider the actual pellet itself. So you do need to practice your shooting, and we will be putting a video together on techniques for shooting and how to do that. But I'm going to touch on a couple of things straight off here. Number one is get your rifle zeroed. Okay, if you don't know how to zero your rifle, check some of the beginner series a couple of episodes back. It's about how to zero your rifle. Get your rifle zeroed and test your pellet grouping at 25 meters. Don't try and do it out to bigger distances to start off with. It's not worth it. Remember, we're starting out here, we're trying to work out. Number two, when you first get your rifle, clean it. Clean the barrel. Get a barrel clean. Just clean it out to get rid of any manufacturing junk oils that are in there. And then fire 4 or 5 sets of 10 shots down it with the pellet you're going to start with. Just to line that barrel up with a bit of lead in there. Once you've zeroed and you've got your rifle prepped, then you've really got to concentrate on how you are shooting. Now, if you're using a PCP, it's recoilless. The best way to do is to do grouping, because that's what you're doing, is you're shooting at a target to see how tight a group you can get, to see which pellet gives you the tightest group. That is choosing your pellet. Well, if you've got a PCP, it's recoilless. If you've got a full-on gun clamp, perfect. Then you've pretty much taken the human out of the equation, apart from pulling that trigger. If you haven't, cheat as much as you can. Front, rear rest, everything. 25 yards, 5 different sets of pellets, and see which gives you the best group. But if you've got a Springer, which a lot of you newcomers will have, then you have to be careful how you shoot this. The problem with a Springer, and I'm going to do a video on this, is that you can't grip a Springer like a normal bolt action rifle or a PCP. Because the Springer, when you pull the trigger, the first thing that happens is the spring comes flying forward. And that is the jolt you feel. The pellet hasn't even started to leave the barrel yet. So by the time you've gone and you got that, and then the pellet leaves the barrel, and it's going to go all over the place. And this is why Springers are much harder to shoot than PCPs. So what you need to start doing is employing a technique called artillery hold. And that is where you literally just hold the rifle into your shoulder and you let the rifle move. So the way you can do this is putting bean bags on the front as a front rest and just hold the rifle in your shoulder Gently caress it, so if you let go, the rifle would pretty much almost stay there. You're just supporting it, and then squeeze the trigger and let the rifle do its work. But I'll do a proper video on that. But before you start trying to choose your pellet, you need to sort your shooting style out and make sure that you can consistently squeeze off triggers, you're getting your breathing right, your crosshairs are right, you can see everything correctly, your parallax on your scope is all set correctly, and you know your distance is, say, 25 meters. And once you've done that, the procedure for picking a pellet, well, it's pretty simple. It's trial and error. Now, there are a few shortcuts you can take. 1. Use the forums. Use the internet. Use Facebook groups. Ask. So, for example, I might ask, I have got a BSA Tactical Lightning Springer. What pellets do you guys use that you find gives you the best grouping? What pellet does this rifle like? And you'll get lots of answers, and you'll get a lot of arguments, I'm sure you will as well, and a lot of mickey taking. Just use your intelligence and sit down and work through it, and you'll see that a certain number of pellets will keep appearing near the top, which gives you a good indication that this is a good place to start. Don't be like a lot of people when they first get the Springer. They go to the gun shop and go, there you go, here's a gun, and here's a free 10 of pellets. And you look at it, and some gun shops will give you good pellets because they want you back and they want you to be happy, but some won't. They'll give you cheap pellets or something that, yeah, we got loads of these in stock. Here, have a tin of them. Don't fall into the habit of thinking that those are the pellets for the rifle. By all means, try them, but what you're doing when you're grouping is you're literally taking, I would say, get one a target that's got 4 circles on it and do 4 groups of 5. And literally aim at the first one, put 5 shots into it, take your time, breathe, put another 5 into the next one, and do that with 1 set of pellets. And that will give you an average grouping size. And you can just measure across a ruler from one pellet to the other pellet. If you get any really weird flies, ignore them. Just measure the average grouping of the pellets that are in the same area there. And that will tell you your group size that you've got for that particular pellet at 25 meters. And then switch to another pellet. And you repeat and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And what you'll find is you'll magically find a pellet that your rifle likes. And you'll tell because suddenly you'll get a nice little grouping. Whereas, for example, if I shoot these bad boys, I will get a grouping like that, almost the size of this tin, at 25 meters with my cricket. If I shoot these, or these, I'll get a 5 pence grouping. And it's very noticeable. So this comes down to, I've been mentioning about pellets and which pellets, and some people go, Steve, you're doing your usual thing, you're slagging off the cheap pellets and praising the more expensive pellets. Right, it's quite simple. The majority of rifles out there will like a good quality pellet. Think about cheap pellets, and I've had arguments with people online. One guy even adamant that all pellets were made by the same machine across the world, made by 1 machine or 2 machines in a couple of factories, and that's it. Take a look at these £5 pellets. Look at them. Now let's take a look at a £13 tin of pellets. Look at the difference in the quality, the colouring, the finish. £5, £13. Made by the same machine? I don't think so. It's called quality control. At the end of the day, you're paying for quality control, you're paying for finish, the moulding process and everything like that. These cheap pellets on here, if I weigh them out, I can pretty much guarantee they're going to be all different weights, maybe 1 or 2%. The skirts are going to be slightly malformed. There's moulding marks still on here. They've not been finished to high quality. These pellets are pretty much identical, maybe 0.001 of a gram out. You know, want a factor of 0.001 either way. And that goes into pellet sorting, which the professionals get into, but we won't go there with that video. And again, I'm paying for quality. Now, if I know my pellets are consistently good quality, consistently finished, consistently polished nicely, compared to rough ready thrown in a tin with blur edges, and maybe not even fit the barrel properly, which ones do you think are going to consistently fly through the air, consistently, and give me a nice tight grouping? Certainly not these ones. These ones. However, there are people out there that do get away with a tin of cheap pellets and they work in their rifle. And they are extremely lucky. but the majority of the case that's not going to happen. A lot of people will find that 7 or 8 pound tins like RWS's work just as good as these, and if that's the case, you've just saved yourself a load of money. And I wish I had a rifle that liked these. I haven't at the moment. I've tried 4 my own rifles, and not one of them likes these, but I keep a tin of them on there. So I'm not really trying to harp on about cheap versus high expensive pellets. I've got a video somewhere, you can go and watch that all about it and read the comments on there. I'm just saying that don't just go for 1 tin of pellets and think that's it. Oh, I've got a cheap set of pellets and I can hit that sort of circle, an inch group at 25 metres. Put an expensive pellet in there, borrow some, and then see what you can do. All those people out there say my cheap pellets are great. Are they? Are they as good as if you put some better pellets in? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I'm saying this is all about trying your pellets in and out different ways and find out how you do it. Now this can get expensive. Some people are saying I can't afford to go and buy all these tins of pellets, and you know what? It is expensive to do that. Go to gun clubs, go to forums, go to Facebook groups, meet up with people, swap pellets if need be. Just see if you can borrow, see if they'll sell you 10 or 20 or 50 pellets out there. There's even some really clever mini micro entrepreneurs out there who are actually on eBay that will now sell you, packs of 20 or 30 pellets and 8 different types of pellet, and you just pick and mix, like the old pick and mix shops out there. Okay, it's going to cost you more per pellet, but it saves you buying 8 tins of 500. So there are ways around this that you can do that, and certainly make use of the Facebook groups out there and look at them as well. What type of pellet shape should you be using? Well, you get flat pellets for punching holes, hole punchers as they call them. You get round pellets, you get pointy hunting pellets, and now you're starting to get all these polymer ones which are like plastic with copper armour piercing, exploding and all that lot. As a beginner, I recommend you just stick with the bog standard round pellets. They are great for hole punching in targets. They have hardly any difference over there. They are great for just plinking, and they will quite happily go straight through a rabbit's head at 25 metres sub 12 foot-pound and still kill out to 50 metres. The polymer ones, a lot of them are seriously bad and they're just after your money. Some of them are good, but they're specialists and you do need to start learning more about bullet characteristics if you're going to use them, and they are super expensive. So as a newcomer, I recommend you stick to the round pellets as you get going for the first year of the hobby, and then you may expand out on how you do. I keep a tin of Sharpies around with me because I happen to have them. I'd made the mistake, and you know what? They're great for doing pellet testing with for me. So what I'm going to do here is also, I've been asked to show about pellet washing. That might seem a really simple thing. Why are you washing your pellets? Well, okay, this is a cheap nasty set of pellets here, but we can see that they're filthy and they're covered in bits of lead, and there's all sorts of crap in there. So all I'm going to do is break out here and just show you how I wash pellets. There are different ways of doing it. Some people like to use washing up liquid, some people like to use WD-40. Here's how I do it. So we'll break to that and we'll come straight back. Right, we're going to wash this tin of wasps and see what we get. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need a metal sieve, you need a glass bowl, and you're going to need some warm water. So first thing to do really is just to take your pellets, take them out, drop them gently into your sieve, get the warm water running, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to wash these out. I'm going to run them across and just gently with the warm water, just give them a wash. That's just the initial wash to get off some of the particles, and obviously lots of those particles will sit in the sieve, and we just now slowly, gently, you don't want to damage the pellets, and look at that, straight away we can see the colour. That's some of the stuff that's come out of there. It's horrible. Right, this water's now getting fairly warm. Some people like to use a bit of washing up liquid. I do. It just helps get rid of some of the releasing agents out. And what you're going to do is, without burning your fingers, it's a little bit warm. Still warm. Get the soap activated. And all we're going to do here is we're just going to stir the pellets around and keep doing this for about 5 or 10 minutes and keep it nice and be gentle with the pellets. You don't want to break the pellets up or anything, but all we're trying to do here is get rid of all of the loose bits of lead that are in here. clean these pellets up. And using the soap liquid as well, some people like it because of it helps them flow down the barrel better. Some people like to use WD-40 after they've dried them. I just use a little bit of soap water. The reason I use the soap water is it helps just get rid of the grime and the crap off your pellets. So we give them a clean, like so. And all I'm doing is just gently massaging them, ladies, around and just giving them a good clean and just agitating them around nice and gently. And the reason we're using glass as well is because we don't want the lead to penetrate into plastic bowls or anything like that. At least if it's glass, it can have a good clean as well. Okay, once we've done that, we then want to sieve them out, and again keep it nice and gentle. Now we're going to give them hot water, as hot as you can, all over. The reason we're going to use hot is because obviously it'll heat the metal up as well, and it will aid the drying process. And we want to move these around and make sure we get everything off them. And we might just put them once more through the bowl, just to give them a good clean out. Like so. So these are getting nice and warm now. And what we want to do is we want to grab ourselves a towel. We'll get a towel and we'll just move the camera around so you can see. I'm just going to put a towel down and we're just going to spread these gently out all over. Because they're nice and warm at the moment, they're going to dry off fairly quickish through evaporation. And that's it. Okay, so hopefully that was a nice little interlude there. I wash all my tins of pellets when I first get them, just to make sure I get all the crap and nothing goes down the barrel. Talking about barrels, people have told me, Steve, you should be cleaning your barrel out every time you change a set of pellets and putting 50 pellets down it to reline it. Yes, they are probably right, but you know what? I'm a beginner as well. You're a beginner. We haven't got the time, we haven't got the effort, we haven't got the money to put 50 sets of pellets down, and for the minute difference it's going to make on our groupings as newcomers, not worth it. All I would say is when you're going to change pellet, put at least 10 pellets through your barrel just to get the barrel used to it, line to that pellet, and then do your grouping. If you change pellet again, put another 10 through just to get it ready, and then do your grouping again. You can go overboard with this, to the extent that when you really get into this sport and match shooting, that you'll actually start measuring and weighing individual pellets to make sure that you're with 0.1% of a pellet characteristic. So you know every time that pellet leaves the barrel, it's spinning in the perfect way and going the perfect height and everything. That is for much, much later. Don't confuse yourselves with that at the moment. All you're trying to do at this stage is pick your rifle, make sure that you've got a good shooting position with PCP nice and stable, or you're using a loose artillery hold when you're using a Springer. You're taking your time, you're doing it from 25 meters, and literally you're having fun with paper targets, borrowing or buying some pellets, and just go and buy the odd tins of pellets that you find. You know, if I go out and buy some pellets, I'll buy 2 tins of this, I'll just go and buy a tin of random stuff that I've never seen before. It's in my collection. Always comes in handy. You'll find when you get into this sport, you'll have hundreds of these tins of pellets lying around, and you'll be helping each other out. So, I've rambled on a little bit here. Hopefully it helps you guys a little bit, and there's no mystique to choosing a pellet for your rifle. Ask, try, rinse and repeat. You will eventually find one you are. But the constant thing that I'm going to keep saying is that pellets, changing pellets in your rifle will not make you a better shot. It will only make you more consistent. Learn how to be able to squeeze, shoot first, then go ahead and start doing your pellet testing on there, and you'll save yourself a lot of time and effort. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. As always, comments down below, thumbs up, thumbs down. Either way, it doesn't bother me, as long as you're getting what you want out of this video. And if you're really flush and you want to help the channel out, I've been asked whether or not I accept donations. So there is a link down below on the comments where there's a little PayPal link, £1, anything you want. it's up to you, and it will all go straight back into this channel, and you know, might buy me another tin of pellets so I can do some more reviews for you guys. So catch you later, have fun and enjoy. Bye bye.